Okay, so I'm back again this week with a whole new list of movies that I think you should see. Most of these are easy to find, some are not so easy to find, and I do recommend that if you see them, you try and get them and give them a chance. If not, you can always sell them back to the local game exchange for a little bit and trade it in for a movie that you know you really like. So first, we're going to start off with a weird romp through space called Ice Pirates. Now, if you get a close look at the cover, you can tell that they don't really take the whole thing too seriously. I know that that looks like the guy who made the sound effects in Police Academy, but I guarantee you it is not. He is a different actor, but he is nonetheless very cool in this movie. It stars Robert Urich and also has Ron Perlman in a supporting role back when he was very, very young. It is about pirates who obviously run through space and steal ice because water is the most precious commodity in the galaxy at this time. Uh, they a princess breaks these two out of jail in order to help them track down a mysterious seventh world that has loads of water on it. But in order to get through it, they have to also go through a time warp that could age them into death. So, also on their heels is an evil Templar lord who wants to see them all dead and capture the seventh world for himself. Will they be able to do it? You'll have to see it for yourself. There's a lot of crazy comedy on the way, including a strange little wormy evil monster thing that is called a space herpy. And yes, they do make the joke that the ship has herpes. So if you can check this out, do so. It's a load of laughs. Um, it's really wonky. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in this movie itself, um, but it is also a really fun pirate space adventure flick with all kinds of interesting stuff. And for you guys, there are space Amazons in it, so that'll be fun. Up next, we have an older movie, The Stranger, starring Orson Welles. This is an excellent movie. I was able to get it for $1. It was not actually directed by Orson Welles, but it was starring him. He plays a man uh, who takes on a new identity in a small town and has a dark secret in his past. After he takes on this new identity, an old friend from his former life shows up and wants to blackmail him. What will happen? Will he murder the man? Will he uh, send the man away? Will he admit to being who he was? Will he get caught for being who he really is instead of who he claims to be? You'll just have to find out. Up next is an all-star celebrity western called The Magnificent Seven. It stars Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen, and I was able to get this for only $5, and I bought it sight unseen because it has that kind of reputation. If you have not heard of this movie already, it has a wonderful opening theme, uh, great action, of course. If you like cowboy movies, if you like um, just really great actors in their heyday, this actually preceded the next film in its production, and as a result, was uh, I believe, directed or produced by the same person. It it is inspired by the film The Seven Samurai in its premise, but I don't know exactly how far it goes into that. If you're a fan of Japanese samurai films from the last 50 years, anyway, so go and check that out. The next film is one that came just after and was Steve McQueen's role immediately following The Magnificent Seven, The Great Escape, starring James Garner and Richard Attenborough, as well as McQueen himself, as you can tell. This is the bare bones version of the uh, film, but it is widescreen presentation, and it comes with bonus documentaries. And I was able to get this for only $7 at the local exchange. You can get this probably online or at Target or wherever for not very much either. And it is just an excellent movie. There is, it tells the story of some POWs, American and British, Polish and French POWs who are captured and sent to a prison that is designed to be escape proof. Uh, Steve McQueen plays an escape artist who always is able to break out, but is usually captured in one way, shape, or form. Um, but he never gives up, and so I really like his character. I also identify heavily with James Garner's character, who's the Scrounger. Uh, as you can tell, I love collecting little bits and bobs if I can find them here and there with my movies, especially. So I definitely identify with him. Of course, the running gag with James Garner's character is that you don't want to ask, you don't want to know where he got what he got for you. Um, and of course, as the title indicates, they are planning a great escape from the prison, and it is still one of the most successful escape stories and one of the most popular stories to come out of the Second World War. So if you can check this out, make sure you do. If you haven't seen it already, check it out on cable, check it out on broadcast. It should have been on this last Veterans Day. Next is another Bruce Lee film, and I want to say something. This is one of the ways you can tell that it is an actual Bruce Lee film. It has the red cover and the little dragon, and it is spelled Bruce Lee, Lee. Now, this is important. Uh, Also, it shows lots of pictures on the back and actually has features. This is actually the film that preceded Game of Death. I um, and features the entirety of the fight which he had with Chuck Norris. Um, Also, uh, as you may have already noticed, you might have seen my copy of The Chinese Connection. That did not have this look to it. I was a little bit nervous when I bought it, but it did turn out to be an actual Bruce Lee movie, so it was at least a decent copy. Um, this does feature basically no thrills or frills, unlike my copy of, let's say, Enter the Dragon or Fist of Fury, what have you. But it is an excellent movie, uh, and I do recommend you run out and get this because, of course, Bruce Lee is the man when it comes to kung fu and action. When it comes to these kinds of movies, there are always imitators or movies that the person produced before that weren't as good. I'm speaking, of course, of Jackie Chan. Some of his movies leading up were not so good. His biggest starring role before he actually got title billing is in Enter the Dragon. He was one of the extras, and uh, he's like a face in a crowd in that movie. But he made later movies where he was supporting or starring, and I accidentally, well, not accidentally, but I was kind of baited and switched on some films that had him on it, and it basically was a big disappointment because Jackie was nowhere near as good in those because the stories were bad and the main actors that they had were other people who weren't as good either. Um, of course, Jackie was still finding his feet. I'm talking about An Eagle Shadow Fist, which is your basic straightforward kung fu beat 'em up movie. Um, Jackie Chan plays a supporting role and actually dies. His character dies in the movie. Um, there are there was another one called Fantasy Mission Force. If you get this, make sure that you are not stoned because if you watch this uh, while not on any substance, you will think you are on a substance. That is how wacky it is. So you will really be delighted by that, I think. I know that I found it absolutely trippy. I don't think that it's really that much of a problem in terms of that particular one, just because it's so bad that it's good, because you can laugh at it. And it's actually intended to be a bit of an offbeat, weird comedy. Um, there are other movies of Jackie Chan's that he made later. The Big Brawl, that was his first American one, didn't receive a lot of praise at the box office or was a big success. Other movies of Jackie's, of course, are great. Operation Condor 1 and 2, oddly enough, the titles on those were switched because Operation Condor was released first in the United States and its actual title was Armor of God 2 Operation Condor, whereas in America we know the first movie in that series is Operation Condor 2 uh, or the Armor of God. So if you can check out any of these movies that I've mentioned, I don't have them all personally, but I do love Jackie Chan as much as Bruce Lee. Anyway, I hope that some of these will satisfy your movie lust. Bye bye.